A very good evening to Dr. Fatima binti Muhammad Yusof, our lecturer, and today we are going to present about our task 1, which is process of plan submission in Malaysia according to Majlis Perbandaran Kulim. And the group members of this project is me, Kishan Al-Laki Yogiswaran, Muhammad Nur Syahir bin Khairuddin, Tashwindran Al-Laki Rajendran, and finally Mani Arasan Al-Laki Munichandran. Next. I will proceed this presentation to Tashwindran.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Dashwin CN 210247. Plan submission usually applies to permanent building works such as commercial buildings, schools, shops, offices, factories, and houses. On new build projects, comprehensive building specification and structural calculation of proposed building work are normally presented for approval before construction begins. A developer order is usually necessary when filing for a building permit. All departure within the individual municipal governments as well as external departments are involved. The approval process for a concurrent application would take a maximum of 6 months of complete. Several strategies and procedures are involved in the submission of development proposal plans. In addition, the application are diverse OSC one shop center implementation has sped up the entire application procedure. Next, background. Okay, the background is a special meeting of heads up division and units upgrading of municipal council was convened on June 6, 2001 to discuss preparation for the Kulim Municipal Council Declaration Council MPKK. That means Majlis Perpandaran Kulim. Thousands of community groups from Kulim district attended to MPKK declaration ceremony on August 30, 2021 at the Clady Stadium in Kulim by resignating the Kulim District Council to be the Kulim Municipal Council DYMM. Tuanku Sultan of Kedah Abdul Halim as defamed His Majesty. As a result, Kulim District Council was promoted to Kedah Municipal Council on August 1, 2001 MPKK. Thank you. I would like to pass my slide to Kishan.
Okay, hello, my name is Kishan Al-Laki Yogiswaran, CN 210379, and I'll be presenting on the processes and procedures approval of plan submission. Approval of plan submission considers of 6 processes. The first process is collection of technical information. The objective of this collection of technical information is to obtain information and advisory services related to the plan. So basically, this process will help the applicant to get basic informations that are needed to be applied to submit the plan. Second process is plan consideration. After the applicant or the submitting person has submitted the plan to the local authority, the local authority will go through the second process, which is plan considerations. So the authority will go through the plan to review and to make statements regarding the amendments and also corrections that are needed to be done. Apart from that, third process, which is notification of construction work start. So once the plan has been considered and approved, the third process will come into work when the local authority will be given notification of construction work of start. So once the notification has been given, the applicant or the PSP, the principal submitting person, or the client or the applicant can start the construction work immediately. Okay. The fourth process is site monitoring and notification interim check. Okay. In this process, the site monitoring and notification interim check will be done by the local authority, such as the Majlis Perbandaran. Moreover, Tenaga Nasional Berhad, Jabatan Bomba dan Penyelamat Malaysia. Okay, these authorities are the basic and the example of authorities which will be doing an interim check and site monitoring to make sure the requirement and standards are followed and oblique. Okay, the fifth process is the final inspection notification, which are outcome of two stages, which is first stage and the second stage. So on the first final inspection, the same local authority will go and go through the site monitoring and will check the standards and the requirements that are needed and followed well. And on the second inspection, it will be the final and the most important inspection to make sure everything that has been done and stated in the plan has to follow and has come to end. And the sixth process is deposit of CCC, which is Certificate of Compliance and Completion. So this deposit of compliance and completion will be done by the PSP or the local authority to make sure to give them the full authority upon completion or partial completion of the particular plan. Next. Okay. Next, I'll be presenting on the roles that are involved in a plan submission. The most basic and the most important roles that are involved in a plan submission is firstly the principal submitting person, which is the applicant, and secondly the local authority, which is the Majlis Perbandaran. In our case, it is Majlis Perbandaran Kulim. So the role of the principal submitting person is to submit the building plan to the local authority for approval using Form A. And secondly, the principal submitting person (PSP) should coordinate the preparation, comments, and submission of other plans beside building plans. The roles of local authority is to approve the building plan and to give reviews and amendments based on the plan submitted by the PSP. And moreover, the local authority also can issue notice to PSP to take action on any matter not in compliance with the provisions of the law and the technical conditions imposed in the planning permissions and building plan. Next. Advantages of the plan submission process are such as the PSP can receive guidance on the building regulations after submission of the plan. So this advantage is basically because of once the PSP has submitted the building plan, the local authority can go through and have basic reviews and amendments on the regulations and also acts that are needed to be improved in the building regulations and the building plan. So after receiving the guidance, the PSP can improve their drawing plans. Apart from that, advantages are the PSP can improve the chances of your plans being approved by the council. And thirdly, building plan submission process also provides reassurance to both the applicant and the builder. Disadvantages are such as the submission process consumes time stage by stage according to their process, because there is basically 6 processes that are needed to be completed. Moreover, plan submission process also has additional costs. It is because once the drawing has been submitted and been reviewed by the local authority, if there is such amendment, they need to do a redraw and reprinting, and this may cause additional costs. And thirdly, because of amendment and also reviews, the drawing plan may increase in revisions. Okay, that's all. Next. Next, I'll
Yeah.
be presenting on the regulations and acts involved in plan submission process. So in this case, the acts that has been picked from is from UBBL 1984 Part 2 Submission of Plans for Approval. So the basic laws are such as the Bylaw 3.1 UBBL 1984 Submission of Plans for Approval. Secondly, Bylaw 4.1 and 2 Written of Plan. Third is Bylaw Supervision of Work. And fourth, bylaw 6, 1 and 2 plans to be signed. Next. Okay. Next is about the certification involved in the process of plan submission. Okay, the certifications are such as number one, Form A, Certificate of Building or Structural Plan. This form or certification is used to retain for submission and approval of plan. It is also referred to the law by Law 31 C 16 2 UBBL 1984. Secondly, Form B, Notice of Commencement of Building Works. And the purpose of this form or certification is used to present in construction work. And the law that are referred to this is by Law 22 1 and 2 UBBL 1984. Thirdly, the Form G1 and G21 state certification. This certification process shows that the certain certification are required, such as for 21 building components. That's why there is G1 till G21. Fourthly, Form F, Certificate of Completion and Compliance. The purpose of this CCC is to show that full erection and completion of building was done under the supervision. And finally, Form F1, Partial Certification of Completion and Compliance. This CCC is required because of part of the building which has been completed and partially completed under supervision. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Mani Rasul. My matric number is CN 210405. Uh, I want to talk about conclusion for our project. The implementation of OSC is a mechanism created to speed up to the improvement inspiration application producer in line with government upgrades at the neighborhood level. The success of implementation of this OSC is notably dependent on full support and cooperation in ministries that have technical departments agencies concerned in the reliance of giving approval in relation to the improvement proposal submitted. Commitment and full aid is additionally required from the state government in view of the effect. The land is under the jurisdiction of the state government. In addition, the success of an OSC is relatively established on technical expertise and level professionalism of the member of the OSC committee and secretaries. Therefore, it needs to be ensured that the participation of the OSC are composed of a high level of professional and technical expertise. Accordingly, it's a perfect to set up a mechanism to supervise and rebuild efficiency and, and effectiveness of OSC for the purpose an inspectorate team and quality has been installed at the KT stage to carry out monitoring activity in relation to the effectiveness of OSC. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Muhammad Nusyahi and my meeting number is CN 210238. So I will we explain about the task 2, the drawing of floor plan. So the floor plan that we took from Aras and Dayan, Sedena 3 for the semi house. So you can look at the floor plan that we have taken from Aras Dayan. And after that, so for the withdraw outcome that we took that the ground floor plan and the scale ratio is 1/100. And for the specification from UBBL that I take is thickness of wall, which is 150 mm thickness. And and this is a result that we have withdraw the outcome. And after that, the conclusion for task 2 that we have learned standard dimension for door, windows, and wall sizing referring to UBL 1984 standard. And number 2, a plan of project should be in commencement only after approval by local authority. And third, application of software skill is highly required, such as usage of AutoCAD in designing the floor plan as per task 2. And that's all from us. Thank you.